Welcome back to another episode of Inside Franklin Athletics. Thanks for joining us today. I have my co-host, Drew Byerly.
Good to be back on.
And then back with us for the second time this year, we have Mr. Doty.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And as I'm sure you can tell, we have audio, visual now.
Yeah, that's nice. I like the setup.
Yeah, so we've changed some stuff around, and so has all the sports teams we talked about last time.
Yeah.
So first off, the biggest one, free admission. What have you seen with that?
Free admission has been great for us so far. I don't know if you guys on the football field, if you could feel the energy in the stands. And, we had, excluding the last game because of weather and fall break, but we had an average of about 435 kids in the stands. So when you think about that, those numbers, if we have, say, 1,650 kids here in the high school, we have, close to 100 kids out on the field for football. Close to that in the marching band that they're there. They're going to perform at halftime. They're in the stands, and then you add in those kids that are there in the blue crew. I mean, we had, what is that? Well, that's almost half of our student population at a football game. So it definitely worked there. But I also saw it working at soccer games. We had more kids coming out to soccer, cheering those boys and girls on. It's difficult for the fall sports. There's individual sports, cross country, tennis, golf. Those aren't heavily attended. They're difficult for. They play on Tuesdays and Thursdays or through the week. It's difficult for a lot of kids to get out and cheer those athletes on. But it definitely helped with the team sports where they're playing in the evening time. So yeah.
One thing, I'm glad you brought that up with the boys cross country team. Me and Drew have a story where we were for the Operation Football in the morning, and we were there, and we saw them running at like 4:30 in the morning.
It was freezing too. Like it wasn't. Like
and they were all shirtless, just working like they were sweating. I remember looking at him and just being like, man, those guys are working hard.
They work hard. The boys and girls cross country team, as do all of our athletes. I mean, everybody works so hard, and they put in the time. The coaches put in the time, and they put it in the right way. And that's why you see, like the cross country team, boys and girls, they finished up their season last Saturday at the semi-state. They qualified for semi-state at Shelbyville and ran some gutsy races. Didn't make it out to state, that's always their goal every year, is to make it to the state. Did not make it there this year, but still had a competitive season, and the fruits of their labor paid off for sure. So
absolutely, Lawson. Arguably the most competitive semi-state too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since you've last been on, we actually had them on the podcast to talk, and one thing that they said is just as the season goes along, it's just so tedious, and they have to actually hold themselves back in terms of working, and because they don't want to overdo it and hurt their bodies. And I think that's pretty cool that they all want to just go.
Yeah, they just want to keep going and grind it out. But you have to be fresh for that. It's it's a 5K, a little over 3 miles, so it's almost a sprint. When you think of in those terms, and those guys when they come to the finish line, you can tell that they have put everything they have from their bodies and their minds into it. It's a lot of them, not just our team, but those runners, they'll sometimes collapse at the finish line because they have just given their all. It's pretty cool to see. I mean, it's in the state meet. If you ever get a chance to go to the state cross country meet, it is really something to behold. It's entertaining. You don't realize that about cross country, and you think it would be hard to watch. But just over there in Terre Haute at the Laverne Gibson track course, it is really pretty cool to go watch. So if you ever get a chance, go see it.
Just because of the sport or how they compete?
It's both. The sport, how they compete. I mean, all those runners, when you make it to state, you are one of the best, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And so it's so competitive, and they are able to announce. You can hear the PA announcer talking about what their splits are as they're running, and you can watch them run as you're listening to who's. It's almost like a horse race. If you watch Kentucky Derby, they're calling out who's leading and where they're from, and that's
cool.
It's just really neat, and it's well done and very competitive. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So last time you were here, we talked about having the new edition of Coach Call. Has anything changed since your last time? Have you gotten fed up with him or anything?
Well, he's pretty busy right now with football. He works his tail off in our office to do all the things we need him to do, and then still takes care of you guys for making sure you're prepared for Friday night. So he is really busy, and he's worked hard, and I couldn't ask for anything more. He's done a great job. So he needs a break. I tried to get him to go out to lunch with me all the time, especially on Wednesdays. Wednesdays I don't have lunch duty in here, and so I get to go out to lunch. So I'll go out. Like yesterday, I went to the Japanese restaurant, and I tried to get him to go with me. He wouldn't go. He's working away, so he won't take a break. So I hope he can relax at some point and take a break because he deserves it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Excuse me. Boys tennis, they had a pretty respectable season, didn't they?
Yeah, they're young guys. We had, the Scottsburg Invitational. I think they won the Scottsburg Invitational late in the season. They really improved overall as the year went on. They got knocked out in the sectional by Whiteland, who is very good. Whiteland's that actually had Center Grove beat in the sectional and in the county tournament. Some things didn't go their way, but Whiteland was very good overall, and so to get knocked out by them, but we played them tough. So they had a respectable season. They're going to be improving throughout the summertime and be ready for next fall. So, yeah, those guys they're working hard too.
Absolutely. So, are there any just glaring surprises or something you didn't expect coming into the season that's just caught you off guard?
Nothing really. I will say, I know the girls golf team, they would have liked to finish their season as a team at the state tournament. Liv Paramore did. She made it to state. The team won the conference. They had some high expectations. Girls golf won our conference championship, finished runner-up at the county championship and in the sectional, and then did not make it out of the regional as a team. So I think in that respect, I think they would agree, and as we all did, we thought maybe this year they would all make it to state as a team. So I was a little surprised by that. I'm not taking anything away from them. I don't mean it making it a negative light. I just think some very high expectations for that group. They're all very talented players.
Yeah.
Liv Paramore did make it to state. She finished 42nd. I have some notes here. Finished 42nd. So kudos to her. She was also the individual conference champion as well. So, yeah, she played well. All of them played well. Just to make it to the state tournament in golf, every player has to put it together at the same time. And that's really difficult to do, especially in the regional that they're in. There again, we're in a tough regional in cross country, probably the toughest in the state. I think also our girls golf regional is the toughest in the state. We have, our girls golf team was rated 7th, I think, to finish the season off. They were in the top 10.
Yeah. When we had them in here, that's what they said.
Yeah, they were in the top 10, and in our regional, there were 4 or 5 other highly ranked teams in that regional that were ranked higher than us. Mm-hmm. So, you take that many ranked teams and put them all in one regional, somebody's going to be left out, and unfortunately it was us. But so that's a little surprising, but they played well all season long, and
absolutely.
They're coming back too. So
now that 42
stuff.
Is that the entire state, or is that by class? I know football and basketball.
It's the entire state.
Really,
entire state. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. So out of all those regionals, the teams advance, and then there's girls that advance to the state tournament who are not on a team advancing. So she was able to advance to the state tournament and then finish 42nd. So I think there were a little over 100 girls there at the state tournament throughout the entire state. So yeah, she played well, really well.
No, I forget what week it was, but Coach Call was awarded the Colts Coach of the Week.
It was week 5 because it was right after Whiteland.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
What does that mean to you as the athletic director?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with
athletic director? It's really a reflection on the entire team that you guys have, the coaching staff. I think your coach, Coach Call, talked about this at the end of that reward. You've received some recognition this year as well. It's a team award, right? No, I know you've been playing well. It's a team. Anything that happens for the individual is a reflection on the team. So as far as anything that comes our way from the athletic department or any team or coach gets, whether they're coach of the year or coach of the week, whatever it is, I think it's a reflection on obviously their personal, their what they're doing with the team and how hard they're working, but it's a reflection on the entire group. So I'm proud to have him as a coach. Definitely. I'm not the one that hired him, you know. I mean, Mr. Regas before me, he was able to secure Coach Call for us in our school. So I'm here trying to keep him here. So
I think the teams do take a lot of joy out of stuff like that, even if it isn't an individual award to somebody. Like when Drew got Mr. Football, or not Mr. Football.
He's going to, right?
Yeah.
When he gets Mr. Football.
We're campaigning for him currently. When he got that Indy Star Player of the Week, I remember during the whole voting stage, we were just sitting there on our Chromebooks, tapping it, refreshing, tapping it. Right. Like we were probably more happy than he was, to be honest. He's so humble about that stuff. He didn't even say nothing, but.
Yeah, well, and that's a reflection. I've seen some interviews that you've done, Drew, and you've handled yourself really well. And that's part of the culture. Coach and I were just talking about this morning about it wasn't you didn't give canned responses. It wasn't forced. What you said about when somebody asked you about how things are going for you, you put it right back on your teammates, and that's part of the culture, and that's what Coach has created. That's what you guys are creating as a legacy moving forward. So
never shouts out the defense though. It's always just the O-line and the receivers.
Yeah.
Defense never gets any credit. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I hate to. I don't like bringing it up because me and Drew obviously want to be humble about it, but we got to talk football.
Absolutely. Hey, I last but not least,
absolutely,
you guys are 7-2. What I want to know, what's that mean for you guys? Seniors, you've been around, you've witnessed a lot of football games here at Franklin. Growing up here, coming to Franklin, watching them before you got in high school, what's it mean to be the class that beat Whiteland for the first time in 17 years? That's helping turn this thing around. What's it mean?
It's really cool just to be able to set. A lot of people in the past, even since I've got here, people have been like, "Yeah, this is the year we're gonna, beat Whiteland. This is the year we're gonna turn."
Seems like you hear that every year. Yeah.
And honestly, since like 8th grade, you hear that too. But to actually do it and to be 7-2 and to be able to go into tomorrow night with, I don't think we've won a sectional game since 2012, if I'm right. Yep. Just to be able to do some things like that and start a new tradition and a new legacy for the program is awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's hard to put it. I can tell you what happened, but I can't tell you how it feels in some sort of way.
Yeah.
The only thing I can tell you is like after the Whiteland game, I went to an IU football game the next day, and I was at the game with a bunch of older guys, like Blake Dickin and a lot of his buddies, and those guys were just saying, "I am so proud of you." Like I'm so proud. They were just all smiling from ear to ear when they saw me. Yeah. That's the coolest part. Is I remember me and him got texts from just guys like TJ Allfeld and Bid Van Dyke. Guys you haven't talked to in like 3 or 4 years. Right. That's the coolest part for me.
Yeah, because it's still their team, right? I mean, it's still, and when you graduate, you're still a part of Franklin history, and no matter what your season record was, you were a part of the program. So to have that lasting legacy on there, it's going to feel good. It's going to you won't forget.
Absolutely.
You may forget, exact plays and things throughout the game, but you're not going to forget the feeling that you had doing this together with all your teammates. It's pretty cool. I'm proud of you guys.
Well, thank you. It sounds like that's all the time we got for today. So
all right.
Thanks for coming in.
Hey, and thanks for having me on, and again, thanks for doing this and highlighting all of our student athletes. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
As usual, stay classy, Grizzly Cubs.